Hello, my name is Jacob. Welcome to the Kindred of Vinland. I was hesitant to kind of do this channel in a lot of ways because there's a lot of voices out there in the pagan world, especially on YouTube. And I thought, well, you know, what am I gonna offer up to the pagan community that there's not already, you know, a half a dozen videos on different subjects and you know, specific subjects. So what do I have to offer? And I'm just going to tell you a little bit about my background as sort of like this introduction video. I grew up in a Christian home, like a lot of people, not very unique. I grew up in kind of a pretty intense evangelical environment that really shaped the course of my life. I'm 33 years old now, and I was an evangelical Christian for a lot of those years. Sometime in my 20s, I kind of just walked away from all of that. Like I said, I grew up in an environment that was, on the one hand, very mainstream evangelical, and then on the other hand, very almost culty, almost what I would call like the fringes of evangelicalism. And I think that means a different thing today, but in the 90s and in the early 2000s, the fringe was like kind of a movement that was almost, in my opinion, almost more influenced by New Age philosophy and those kinds of philosophies that became popular through the 1960s into the 1970s, and I think really influenced kind of Protestant evangelical Christianity to a point where I think that kind of evangelicalism almost has less to do with Christianity, historic Christianity, than it does the New Age movement. I think that's certainly just my opinion, but so I grew up in that. I ended up starting to look very closely at Roman Catholicism, which was very much a no-no growing up. A lot of prejudice towards Catholicism in the Protestant world. Eventually landed on Eastern Orthodoxy, and I became an Orthodox Christian. And so that is the Christian perspective that I really landed on and that I really come from. Sometime in that journey in Orthodoxy, I just felt a sort of detachment that I couldn't really explain, and it was hard to kind of go on. It was hard to go to liturgy. It was hard to participate in the sacraments. It was just very difficult. I started feeling, these things are hard to explain, but I just really started feeling a pull towards the faith, the faith of my older ancestors. What I would eventually identify to be sort of an Indo-European paganism. That was very scary, very difficult to kind of wrap my head around, but I had a few very meaningful moments to me where I feel like the gods made themselves known to me, and I started talking with a good friend of mine who was kind of Christian, but definitely had less to do, less outspoken about his Christianity, and through conversations with him, he ended up becoming a pagan. For me, becoming a pagan carried a lot of social consequences. My circles were very Christian, my family very Christian, everything that I knew in my life at that point was very Christian. So the idea that I would even flirt with or become a pagan was very scary, about what that might mean for me socially. Long story short, through a series of unfortunate events, or depending on how you look at fortunate events, I ended up having a pretty big life change. I got divorced. I am now, and I'm now remarried, and I've found a lot of support in my pagan journey now, and it's just changed a lot of things for me. And so, but the one thing I've noticed becoming a pagan and running around, not so much running around in pagan circles, but reading pagan literature or reading stuff online, there's this kind of animosity towards Christianity, and I think the animosity is towards, especially in America, the animosity is towards this sort of evangelical strand of Christianity, because that's what everybody's familiar with. And in reading some of the pagan literature, it's very clear that I think pagans even kind of misunderstand like true Christianity as it was in the old days, the Christianity that converted them, and the reasons why conversion worked. It wasn't all forced, and it wasn't all coercive, and there's reasons for that. And so I kind of thought that maybe my experience as a Christian and my experience now as a pagan would maybe be maybe an important part of the puzzle for some people, to kind of reconcile the past with the present, the past Christian life with the present pagan life. Everybody kind of makes that transition differently, and it can be hard, and it's certainly not been the easiest thing for me. There's challenges to it, and there's ways of thinking, and there's a lot of processing that you have to do, and there's a lot of grieving also, because there are things about Christianity that I really love, and especially in a traditional sense, and things that I will always hold dear to me moving forward. And I don't have any animosity, and I don't have an axe to grind with Christianity, but I think it is an important conversation to have, and an important one that I hope I can, through this channel, a little bit kind of delve into. The other thing I hope to do with this channel is to talk about a variety of topics, historical topics, present day topics, musings on the culture surrounding modern paganism, and none of it should be taken as anything more than my personal opinions, what I feel is important, and if you agree with that, great. If you don't, also great. But just food for thought. The other thing I hope to do is, recently I've kind of started a kind of a collective of artists, and it's called the Contemporary Pagan Artists Guild, kind of a broad guild encompassing a lot of different arts. So I'll be promoting some of that on here as well, interviewing some of the artists that we hope to kind of promote, and I'll be talking about rituals and things that I do in my personal practice that might be helpful to you. Again, this is all just opinions. I hesitated to maybe do this channel because I thought, man, there's just so many voices out there, and there's so many opinions and so many people, and you put yourself out there and you welcome, you can welcome a certain amount of criticism, and maybe somebody will criticize what I'm saying, or, but this is just I just want to give my perspective. It might be valuable, it might not. You guys decide. I think in the future these videos will be as hands-on as they can be, with us kind of communicating through a screen, but I hope to really bring just a different perspective to maybe the pagan community at large. So I appreciate you watching this introduction, and looking forward to making more videos for you. And if you enjoyed this, please give a comment below. Thank you.